In this video I'm going to show you how to change the chrome bumper trim on the Polestar 2 to a black one. So depending what colour you went for on your Polestar 2, you're going to have chrome or gloss black trim on your rear bumper here. Now personally I wish that they were all gloss black because I prefer to have a de-chromed style like you have on the side of the Polestar. It's all a nice gloss black, but obviously that's not the case if you have the chrome fittings. So in this video I'm going to show you the tools that I've used to remove the trim here, then show you briefly if you decide you want to spray this yourself, and then also some part numbers which will be down in the description if you actually want to buy the gloss black trim pieces from your local Volvo garage. So before we focus on the back, I just wanted to briefly mention the front of the Polestar 2. So this is another thing here on the midnight blue that I have. We have this kind of chrome kind of trim around the front grille. Now that actually isn't a separate piece, it's actually part of the whole grille unit, and so for one of those it's about £280 from Volvo. Again, depending on the colour vehicle that you have, it will either be chrome like it is on mine, or on some of the newer kind of more recently released version of the Polestar 2 they come in the body colour. So I think if you go for void you actually do get a nice black chrome strip, I mean a black strip there instead of the chrome. So again, if you want to, you could replace that whole grille, but one thing I might look at in a future video is looking at how you can remove that grille and then spray it off the car. Obviously you can spray it whilst you're on the car, but chance of overspray and stuff, I prefer to be able to take things off. Okay, so to remove the trim from the rear bumper you're going to need a few tools, at least some tools that I recommend. So you're going to need a trim tool of some kind. So plastic tools are best because the chances of them scratching or damaging your car are obviously reduced. So a plastic trim tool like this, or you can also use a metal trim tool. And again, I've used these, but what I recommend, even if I'm using the plastic, I always use a small microfiber cloth that I can kind of wrap around or put near where I'm angling it to make sure we don't damage the paintwork, or in this case you've got the rear reflector right where that is. And then also a small flathead screwdriver just to help with the initial leveraging and enabling you to get the trim tool into place. Then if you decide that obviously you've taken this off and you're going to spray it, I recommend the Plasticoat products. So here we have the Super Primer. So again, I just did a single layer of primer and then used the Super Gloss black Plasticoat, and 3 coats of that will give you a nice good finish on the back. Also available in matte if you prefer to have matte as well. Plasti Dip is another option. The advantage of Plasti Dip is if you decide to, you can easily remove and peel it off, but I know I want this to be permanently black, so not such an issue. This is my sprayed version. Not sure how well it looks on camera. During the second coat I was actually trying to do a little video of the spraying process and it fell over onto the bit of cardboard that I was doing, so it did smudge a little bit, and so then when I've put some extra layers of coat on, it's actually lost its gloss a little bit. But I want to show you that you can get results. It did look better than this actually before I put this last coat on, but again it comes out pretty well, and again you still have the chrome on the back. So before I show you kind of what it looks like on the car and how to remove it, to show you the back of this is from the right hand side. So the reason I knew that I could remove this was when I was doing a little bit of bumper repair, which I've mentioned on the Facebook group, on the Polestar UK Facebook group. I realised how these bits were clipped into the bumper, so that gave me the confidence to decide to have a go at removing it. So you can see they're just large clips that clip in place. There's a little protruding element on the side which helps retain it into the bumper, but you've basically got 3 clips on the kind of main edge here, and then on the thinner piece 1, 2, 3 clips here. When I took this one out, this little middle clip here actually snapped off, but with some super glue left it in there for over 24 hours, and now that's nice and rigid again. I use some Gorilla Glue, but any kind of super glue will be good over time. And even if you decide not to put that on, assuming it's not an end piece that snaps off, you're going to have enough clipping retaining power there. You can always put a little bit of thin 3M tape on there if it was an issue anyway, but I think it came out pretty good. But I'll show you later in the video. I also did pick up the ones from Polestar again to see what they're like and compare them, and we'll show you that when we do the install as well. So less of me rabbiting on, I'll show you what it looks like on the bumper side where this was removed. So again, you can see those retaining holes, and then I'll show you removing it from the left hand side. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the removed side. So here you can see the retaining holes, so you can see how it just kind of fits in and clips behind the back of this plastic piece. You can see that all in here going along. So there's 3 pieces there as we saw, and 1, 2, 3 holes around the reflector, and this is the main entry point where I start it. There's a bit more flex in the trim piece around here, so this is the part that we're going to start off with. Get this piece removed, and then gently pry out the larger area here, because there's less chance of it snapping, because obviously it's a more rigid piece, and then gently ease out on the right hand side. Okay, so let's get on with the actual removal here. So as mentioned before, in here, in this little piece where we get the angle, this is where there's the most movement in the trim. You can just put your fingernails behind there, you can feel it moving. So that's where we're going to insert the screwdriver to do the initial removal. And again, I will use the microfiber cloth just to provide a bit of protection there. So again, just get the small flathead screwdriver, cover it in the cloth, and then gently ease it behind the trim and the reflector. So I'll just do a closer up of that so you can see what that looks like. Okay, and so from this point we're going to get the trim tool, and remember the clip is just below here, so just below this point. So this is what we're going to try and get the trim tool in here, and then slowly ease it out. So again, you will have to put a little bit of pressure on the bodywork, which is why it's important to have this cloth here to again maneuver it out of place. And I find just by twisting and turning and pulling, eventually this will pop out. And again, you may need to use an angled or more rigid tool. Again, all the metal trim tool works well as well. So once you've used the screwdriver to get in place, you don't really need to keep it in there. It's just a bit able to get the tool in safely. Again, don't worry too much about damaging the metal trim piece, because again, you're either going to be spraying that or replacing it anyway. Obviously the chrome effect is just a sprayed coating, so it's not really robust anyway. Okay, so just slowly but surely ease that clip out. They are in there tight. Again, just keep an eye on your pressure. You'll hear the reflector if you're applying too much pressure. Okay, so you see here we just managed to get this piece of trim off to the right hand side. As I mentioned before, it's the larger area you want to start with. You can see that clip just there. And just continue to slowly move it around. So again, if we look back at this other trim piece, so you get an idea of what we're doing, we've just dislodged this piece. So slowly move around and then come back to these smaller pieces towards the end. And actually, as you get to the bigger pieces, you'll be able to get your fingers down there, but I still recommend using the trim tool, because when it does clip back on itself and your fingers get trapped, it does hurt. Up. Try and as much as you can avoid contact with the body paint, and try and keep around that reflector area. Again, or if you do want to go, you can go underneath, but there's more chance you're going to damage the paintwork as opposed to damaging the reflector there. Okay, so just giving it a little tug around here, get that trim piece out, and I've just got this main big one in the top corner here to get out now. Okay, so a little bit more brute forcing, and they're slowly coming out. So again, you just got to be confident with it. The big one is the hardest piece to get out. And again, just don't angle it up onto the bodywork. Okay, so that piece just came away now. I'm just going to slowly go around this edge. Now you can see, obviously there's more pressure on here. So again, you can do this with your hands now. And you can see that there has been a little bit of damage to the chroming. So again, just you'll sand that a little bit before spraying it. But we just want to be careful on this last bit so we don't kind of bend it out of shape. So I'm going to just pull carefully where those clips are. And remember, there's 3 altogether, so that's 2 out. And then this final one. That's it. So all out, no clips broken. Again, it feels like they're going to break because they are in there really firmly. But once you've got this out now, give it a clean with either some detailing spray or some degreasing spray, so you can get all the dirt and grime and grub off. Sand down any little pieces where the chrome has kind of been pulled up a little bit, so it looks slightly chipping, and then get ready, and then you can primer it. So again, like I said, 1 coat of primer, and then I recommend 3 coats of the gloss. And then you've got a couple of options. Well, a couple of options. Yeah, obviously the one option is to spray it. The other option is to buy the trim from Polestar, which I'm going to show you in a moment. But with the primer, you can spray after about a few hours. Really, the primer dries pretty quickly. Between the coats on the gloss, leave about an hour, but then definitely leave it 24 hours when you've finished before you touch it. It'll still be quite tacky, and if you try and put it on, you will get fingerprints or kind of contact marks on here, which obviously you don't want. So let me show you the difference between the sprayed version. Again, my sprayed version isn't the best because, like I said, it fell over, so if I was going to do it again, I would do a better job, but I decided for the video I'd buy some anyway. So they are £24.48 for the black gloss ones of these each, so just under £50 for the pair. But I'll show you the kind of comparison so you can decide if you want to spray it. And I'm also just going to give a quick little spray up clean around here before putting them back on. Okay, so not sure how well this will show up on the camera for you, but I'll just show you the examples before showing you the installed finished product. So this is the gloss part from Polestar. You can see it's black at the back as well, which is really good. Some other vehicles, when I've bought the gloss black version, it's just been the chrome version that's been sprayed black. And obviously then when it gets scratched or damaged, you get chrome coming through. So it's really good that it's actually a proper black product. And this is my sprayed version. Now obviously in this, my version looks a little bit matter due to that extra kind of too much spraying I did. But before, actually, it would have looked pretty close. The obviously purchased product does look better than the home sprayed version slightly. But had I not been doing this video and if I hadn't dropped it on the front and decided not to bother redoing it, I would have been very happy with the sprayed version. So the spray paint will cost you about £10 altogether for the primer and the gloss. So you can decide if you want to do your own or do the sprayed version. So I'll just show you again what these two look like in terms of my sprayed version and the glossed offered up into the positioning on the car, and then we'll get them properly installed and then wrap up the video. Okay, so installing the new ones or the sprayed ones back into their position, obviously straightforward. You're reversing what you did, but obviously no need for the tools. But in the interest of completeness, I'll show you how I choose to reinsert them. Again, it hasn't caused me any snapping or any bending or anything. So again, take the item out, just make sure that you're kind of happy with it. There's a couple of little marks on them from the factory, but again, just a wipe down with detailing spray after will be fine. I offer this up to the holes it's in and then just gently kind of position it into place. So again, just like this. Starting that main big one first, and then just lining them all up so it can just sit and hang in place like that. I'm going to start off by putting in the larger clips first, so kind of the opposite to what we did with these. So I'm going to leave the smaller pieces to have the firm pieces in place, so it's not going to bend or skew on the heavier side. So again, just push these home, you get a positive clip, and then slowly working from the larger side out, clip those in. Again, just make sure that they're fitting in place because you don't want the trim to overhang and scuff the paintwork there. So just make sure the last one is in as well. In and in. And then grab your microfiber cloth from earlier. Again, make sure it's clean. Again, I'm just using a bit of my detailing spray and then a little wipe over. To finish the job, and I think it looks so much better than it does in the chrome. So I hope this video helped, whether you're deciding to spray or replace them from Polestar direct. Hopefully this video gives you the confidence to remove those trim pieces. Again, just a little bit of time, a little bit of effort. Don't rush it because you don't want to snap things. Again, snapping isn't the big issue if you're planning to replace them anyway from Polestar, because if you snap them all, you're not going to damage the bumper part. It will be the chrome trim that you damage. But again, you probably don't even need the trim tools. If you don't want them, just be very careful with a larger screwdriver in accompanying that small one. But yeah, I think it looks so much better in the gloss black. So again, hope it was helpful. Please consider liking the video, even consider subscribing, pressing the notification icon as well. And there's a big wasp. And until next time, take care, happy motoring, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.